Hey guys, just doing your hand if you want to come up. Wait, no, I'm halfway over my halfway through my watch hours, so 2,000 more hours to go. So one thing, people, if you want people to talk, you need to let them talk, not just jumping over them and not letting them talk, guys. Yeah, no, there's smoky days today. From the forest wildfires. Hey, okay, no problem, Kim. Hey, Without Borders. How are you this morning? I'm okay. I with the sweet with the voice back. Yeah, so far so good, but not that smoke. Yeah, I've been watching, been found a channel with Lower Manhattan, and it's cannot see it. Like it's going through a sandstorm. You're just smoke. Hey, Spooky. Yeah, he's same here. Or I'll show you. Hey, I muted you before I
Oh,
put you up.
okay. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good, good. Oh, there's my wallet. I'm like, I can't find my wallet this morning. Is
You
it
were so
is it
yeah,
smoky? Is it smoky where you are, Jenny?
yeah, not as bad.
Okay. I
Not
have it.
like
Oh yeah, it's still bad outside. Oh,
this.
where's my mask? I
This is
guess.
New York.
Yeah. 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 Crafton showed some of his pictures because he went out in it
Yeah.
last night. He went down to the boardwalk to take pictures, and it was horrible. I took one like with the door shut and stuff, but from our balcony, and it was pretty bad. But he went a couple hours later, and it was just so thick. And it's yeah.
I heard him saying, "You guys see the Freedom Tower from where you are?"
No,
And
from so he saw it. So you can see it actually where Aiden's girlfriend lives. So when we drove her back, that's the first time that he saw New York. So he was excited, but not from where we lived, but from where Aiden's girlfriend lives. You can.
you October always, yeah, New York got it bad, but New York's, well, that state is right next door to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you don't have it too bad there.
And the
It's
border's right there, so
uh-huh.
I'm like 10-15 minutes from Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
I'm at like Lewiston
Mhm.
side. So if you guys know that part of states.
Yeah.
So I'm right there. Like if we used to go to the mall and wait there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hold on a second, Jenny. I'm grabbing my inhaler. I have to go get coffee, and I'm a little worried about
what
going.
you got your coffee for before you came on?
No, I went and looked, and we don't have any, so I'm just going to run to 7-Eleven. But I'm like, okay, so I got to take my inhaler just in case, and I'm going to take my mask. I guess that's a good thing, right? We all have masks from the pandemic, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's better than it was yesterday, but it's still there. It's really
Yeah.
weird. It's like a haze just hanging over
Yeah.
everything.
Like Spooky said, where she is in Michigan, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Yeah.
And in Michigan, it's underneath Ontario. Was
Yeah.
other part of Ontario.
Yeah. So we had someone in our chat last night who's in Missouri, and they're starting to get it.
Yeah, it's getting bad. We and all the school boards up here,
Mm-hmm.
they call indoor voices or gym
Mm-hmm.
inside to further notice
Okay.
because of the smoke.
Yeah. Well, yesterday there came a point where, because it happened really quick, and suddenly it smelled like something was burning in the house. It just did.
Yeah,
And so I came downstairs to see if Aiden was cooking or what was going on. And he's like, no, we have all this smoke coming in from these wildfires in Canada. I'm like, wow, really? It's like coming from that far. Huh?
yeah.
And
It smells like neighbors having a small fire.
yeah. It's like kind of like wood burning fireplace
Yeah,
is what it smells out here. And
yeah.
I was like, well, why is it smelling so like prominent in the house? Like we're in the house, you know? But no, they had a window cracked from back a couple nights prior that
Yeah.
when they burned butter on the stove. So, so we shut that. That helped a little bit, but it was like I had another asthma attack later in the day, and I think it's just, you know, it's because at that point it was at its worst. So even with everything closed up, it's just the smell was still coming in.
Without borders, say, please be safe. Him with scary out there and poison. Yeah, everybody is. Especially with their poison problems and elderly.
Well, it was really bizarre because this morning I went out to, fill the squirrel and bird cups and stuff. And the water that I had, so I had to pull their water in because their water's like brown from all of this in the air. So I was like, I'll put a new one, a cleaner one out because I was like, oh, they're like out there drinking all of this stuff. Sad.
Yeah.
Well, are you okay after last night? I was sad that.
Yeah, I know.
You waited so long and patiently, and then I felt like he just rushed off. And I know other people kept talking, but he knew you were waiting for him, though, too. That's what's stinky.
I said also in my comments that on Discord. I am hurt, and the chat know this.
Yeah.
So that's the sad part. If the chat know this, That means something's up.
Yeah. Well, I think Eli made a statement with it yesterday. He clearly is kind of picking and choosing who he's willing
Yeah.
to hear out. And with him sort of announcing that he's just going to do pre-recorded now for whatever he said, a week or 2 weeks.
He-
I mean, would it have killed him to spend 5 minutes hearing you out when he knows you've been waiting this long?
Yes, you can make peace with people, but also don't go overboard. You're getting too high
Yeah,
and forgetting about other people too. Hey, Cranky Squirrel, I wonder, Mandy and Alyssa. Yeah, I noticed that Jamie did say he was distracted and forgot.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but he brought it up, I think twice though too, right? Like he made sure to say to him a couple times, like, okay, and Jenny wants to talk to you. Okay, and Jenny, I think Jenny's waiting to say something to you. I don't know.
I did hear them, Jamie saying, and I was starting to saying all three of them jump before I said something.
Yeah.
And
Well,
even the chat said, let Jenny talk, let Jenny talk.
Yeah.
So many times.
Well, I think it became clear that Eli didn't want to talk to you, is what it felt like to me.
He said to me, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But still.
Oh, okay. So then that's when other people started talking. Who was on? Was it? Who was up there? I don't remember who else was up there. It was Paul was up there. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie.
Well, do you? So Eli's like, oh, I'll have to get with you some other time, Jenny. Do you think that he's going to do that?
Hard to say with him.
Right. Yeah. Well, especially if he's not going. I know he went live last night.
Yeah.
I'm behind. I watched some of the chat, but I haven't listened to him yet. It's like 3 hours long, which is long for him. So I don't know if he addressed any of it last night on his show yet.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, that was my feeling too. I'm like, well, I'll still get up here and talk about it with you because I feel like the odds are good that he didn't. So, but he might have, just so everybody, the disclaimers out there, he may have addressed something of it last night, but I don't
know. A lot of people in chat will say something from last night. Hey, Cardo.
Yeah, I thought it was very coward of him to do that. Because, I mean, I get it if you're, but when somebody's waited that long, I mean, that's, it's reinforcing what some of the other community thinks in terms of this is just Eli's ploy to, he's fine. He wants to make up with Sarah and Jamie, and he's going to do what he can there. But he's not, he wants to hop up on Jamie's panel, but then avoid anybody that he has hurt in the past that clearly has wanted to talk to him. I mean, it's not the first time that Eli's just sort of passed over, questions and concerns you've had. This has been going on now for a very long time. And I was just kind of like, wow, it's shitty of him. It was just really shitty of him. I don't like
I
Eli.
wouldn't say my thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I talk shit about him, but about him
Mm-hmm.
last couple years, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to realize if I want make amends with him,
Mm-hmm.
I had to change
Mm-hmm.
myself too.
Yeah. And that's like all you can do, right? Because you can't change the other person. And I don't know a lot about things before I was here, right? So I don't know everything that's happened. But it's like you and I talked about too. He doesn't seem to even understand that
Yeah,
what he's doing is
that's
wrong.
that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. And so and like we were talking about, the only way that he's going to gain any understanding is if he's willing to hear people out
Yeah,
rather than just assume and label people these, like, ill-intentioned, reckless, mean, unstable, blah 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 blah, fill in the blank people, and hear what it is that he's done that's been hurtful to them. And so I was disappointed because I was going, okay, well, so that's, that was his first chance, and he didn't seem to recognize it for what it was, which was an opportunity. So that was my feeling. But I don't know. So, I've only seen what I've seen. So I don't know if
yeah.
you've said worse things about him in the past than
Mm,
maybe I know about. But I wouldn't even call what you've said like talking shit. That's just
Not
me.
not as bad as other people.
Okay. Well, disliking him and, having hostility towards him is not an uncommon response to some of the things he's done and the way his attitudes and beliefs, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's the problem
Uh-huh.
that people picked up is his attitude. She will be back on. She probably switching on computer. That's the problem with Eli is his attitude. Everybody picked up on that. I mean, yeah, that too, Garda. The other side is he going flip or not?
Sorry about that. I was just switching off of my headset, and instead it took me off panel.
I thought you were going to on PC, your
Yeah.
computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Like I was saying, it's his attitude.
Yeah.
People picked it up.
Yes. Yes. Well, and the first time, like, as soon as you got up there, then I don't know, you guys, like, pulling Dawn up on panel, that was weird. But especially since Dawn didn't seem to know. She's like, wait, who are you talking? Who? And I was like, wow, I don't know. And I know he doesn't like Paul. And Paul seemed pretty genuine, at least in his, to share his story and all that.
Yeah. Paul knows what being a drug addict is like.
Yeah.
And using and drinking.
Right.
Is like. So he will help somebody if they need to.
Yeah. Yeah. He seemed very empathetic and willing to talk about it and stuff. I mean, it was like, I don't know. So any big epiphanies I thought I was going to draw from
If
Eli having thought things out a little better was kind of.
I thought he would help Dawn if she wants to.
Yeah. Well, I think he doesn't want to admit Dawn has any issues, is what I think it is. That's my opinion. You know what I mean?
If like I said, I know this since other day.
Mm-hmm.
They were on their high horse for making peace. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they need to get off and look at other people. They were trying to save their opinions or their thoughts on that show.
Well, and I think that Jamie has a better understanding of peace. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
he is understanding that, like, listen, our peace doesn't mean Jenny's peace or Kim and Crafton's peace or, you know, any number
Yeah.
of people that support him and are friends with him and are in his chat. You know, their peace does not trickle down. And what's interesting is that, you know, Eli's premise for the longest time is that none of us, you know, none of our concerns, none of the reasons we take an issue with him are valid because they're all coming from Jamie, right? That was the deal for the longest time.
Mhm.
What's happening now is, now what can he say? Now he's seeing, no, actually Jamie makes peace with you. That's just Jamie making peace with you. It has it has nothing to do with the other people that support Jamie and dislike Eli. We all have our own reasons.
Yeah. Jamie said, when he did the 2 streams,
Mm-hmm.
he said, you cannot open for your views on this.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I went on
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get chance to. That's the problem. If they want others make meet halfway,
Right.
they need to talk it out too.
Oh my gosh! Wait! Red Door Woman. Are you talking about Eli's chat? Hold on, I'm trying to go back. So when she said she was Native American, she's saying she got blocked. I'm wondering if that was. This is my issue, Eli. Yeah, it is Eli. This is my issue. Eli's core values are not going to change. He is what he is. And big BS, Arlie.
Yeah.
He's a racist. I agree with that. So I will not have anything to do with him. Okay, so it is Eli you're talking about. Wow. Yeah, this is where it hits home for me. I'm like, he seems to take, like, anybody who has who is different from him.
Yeah.
You know, he first takes this, like, supremacy standpoint as far as himself being superior, right? Which is, by the way, one of the foundations of bigotry. But it's like he refuses to learn. I've sat and listened and talked for hours about how he values diversity, and I'm like, I don't think so. No, and I agree with Red Door Woman. These are core beliefs. It takes a Hail Mary for a bigot to realize they're a bigot and care about changing. You know.
I know with Jamie, he will learn about everything if he wants to. Even he said, if I
Yeah,
want
cranky.
to,
He runs around.
if
He drops the N-word like no one's business.
if
So,
he wants to be a life coach, I
mhm.
want to learn about everything.
Mhm. Yeah, unless he wants to be a white, straight people, uh,
You Mickey,
you
me.
know, not neurodivergent life coach who still has to follow rules and not try to cross into actual counseling, chemical dependency treatment, diagnosing, all the things that life coaches aren't allowed to do, aren't
Yeah,
qualified.
that's also it true. Gordo said his mother and father were immigrants
Mm-hmm.
from Greece.
Well, see,
And
we're thinking of it as in because somebody is an immigrant that they will have some understanding towards other minorities or immigrants or fill in the blank, and that's not true. There's and so I think even with that, to where really I'm sure that he has experienced something that should have tipped him off that
that's
that
true.
other people of other races and ethnicities go through things that he himself would not be able to understand.
Like Gordo said, what our woman is a true
Absolutely.
American. Yes.
Absolutely.
Actually, this is mm,
Oh my
the
God.
first
The poor woman, he
people
did. Yeah, that doesn't shock me, I guess, either.
first people who were here was the Indians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and when we came over here,
Mm-hmm.
we took that land away from the Red Door. Well, from
Yeah.
Indians.
Yeah. 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 It's like, and the history is important. That I don't have respect for people who speak these deep opinions and they have no understanding of of the history, and what it did in changing the trajectory of whole entire groups of people, the injustices that were done to entire, because those, there's issues that become generational, and it's talked about like it's this big thing, but we're not talking about, we're talking about 3 lifetimes ago, you guys. We're talking about people whose great grandparents experienced these things. And I just find it, God, I mean, I don't want to get mad this early in the morning, but I just find it really ignorant. It's ignorant. And he's dismissive, and that makes it almost even more punchable. You know what I mean? And it's just like how he talks
Yeah.
you guys, this could have been so basic. And this is why I agree with Red Door Woman. So if we weren't talking about ingrained beliefs and bigotry, then somebody who walks around using the word mentally ill, mentally deranged, whatever, the second somebody corrected them or pointed out to them, and I'll remind people that GLM was his mod and sat in his chat telling him mental illness and disability are 2 different things.
Yeah.
And he argued with her, not about the point at hand, but essentially being like, listen, I know you like to troll, you're, an emotional woman, like, all of his basic standby shit. And so for me, I'm going, I mean, that's kind of the answer, right? Like he's not interested in learning at all. Hey, Gordo.
Me,
Shut up,
Gordo.
Jenny.
Oh, add that to your bird cage.
Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Oh, buzz up.
Were you there last night, Gordo? Did you see it?
Nah, it's too late for me. I'm in
Yeah.
the UK, so it's sort of like the time difference.
Yeah. Well, he ran like a bitch. That's what happened.
He what?
So Eli pretty much ran like a bitch. When it was Jenny's turn, then all of a sudden he's stuttering and he's busy and he's got to go. And then I think it might have been Paul. It was Paul or Cher. Someone started talking, and he stayed and listened even after he was making his first "I've got to go," you know. And then when that person jumped off panel, and now really it's Jenny's turn, he just rushed right off. He wasn't having it.
Believe it or not, he might actually benefit from doing some volunteer work with
Yeah.
some of the homeless, soup kitchens, and actually see
One
what it's all
thing-
about.
I think you're right, Gloria.
Yeah. One thing, Gordo, if he doesn't want to talk to me or Johnny or anybody with disability, he might don't want to volunteer with that organization. So, who knows? But keep eye on him or her. Cake month.
I mean, I can't see it lasting the piece like because it's something to trigger him off, and you go off on a tangent again as he always does.
Mhm.
It's rinse and repeat. I mean, we've had so many peace agreements in the past. I mean, fair play if you can keep it going, but I can't see it happening because he's so opinionated with his views. He cannot see the grey areas. He can only see black and white. There's no
Right.
grey areas with him.
Right.
Oh, puppy. Oh no, mine's upstairs. I was like, God, I can't believe
Look, Gordo's.
I was gonna say I can't believe Kenny's not barking back at that, but it's because he's not down here.
Yeah, he gave me everybody
Hey, puppy.
said something last stream. Jamie had and Eli wasn't about why were you calling Johnny and myself me?
Mhm.
Not
Mentally ill.
challenged.
Yeah, mentally challenged. He has all the words. Everything that doesn't quite fit, like everything
No.
but be respectful. If you must address a person by their disability, which on its face is kind of messed up anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like at least get it right. It's like he's using terms that it's just like, no, that's not. It's not even like people are like, oh, people choose to get offended. No, it's not right. It's incorrect.
Yeah.
So it's not fun being labeled or having some some portion of you be how someone constantly refers to you. But never mind if they're not even getting that right. I mean, it's like 2 layers of disrespect, in my opinion. But
I don't know if Eli will change or not.
yeah, I don't think he's going to. I think that I was willing to consider, but then I think last night just kind of blew it for me. I mean, I guess if he reaches out to you but he has said that before. He said that when he was on Jamie's the other night. And it's just, think about it this way. He's saying he has all this stuff with Dawn, and I'm for that. I understand that, right?
Yes.
Family, household comes first, absolutely. But you're already sitting on a panel, right? So he would have just had to take the 5 minutes while he's already there if it was a priority. And and now it's back into this queue where everything else is going. And then next thing you know, he's like, oh, and I'm only doing pre-recorded videos, not live videos. Well, that seems to me like
It's a cop out.
he doesn't want to deal with the conflict that has arisen in his own community, nor the conflict that's outstanding in Jamie's, because for the first time he has to admit that no, we aren't just follow the leader around here. Well, Cranky, I'm sort of with Gordo. I'm not going to lie. I think I think Jamie's been pretty upfront with what it is. But I don't think Eli's going to get what he wants out of it, is what I think.
Yeah.
And he's picked it up before.
There's always a hidden agenda with Eli. Always.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dealt with him for 6 years now, and the peace agreements. I mean, normally that's about 3 or 4 days, and then it goes back to how it was. You'll get funny because once somebody's restreaming him, or you get funny because somebody says something, do you know what I mean, bad about him. You know, we're all entitled to opinions. Opinions are like an asshole. We all got one.
Exactly.
I know I had the experience with one, but when she got older, about 18, 19, she did change her attitude towards people with special needs,
Yeah.
disability. She finally came around and realized.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
don't-
think just in the year and a half that I've known Jamie, I feel like he's more sensitive and
Yeah.
knowledgeable on the topic, you know?
I mean, I don't judge Jenny by her, you know, by
Yeah.
her disability, because, you know, I mean, I've worked with people with worse disabilities than what Jenny's
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
You know? And you see them as a person rather than
Yes.
disability.
Yes.
Okay, Jenny struggles
it's
getting her
hard.
words out.
It's just part of them. It's just part, but it's like I have eccentric friends or friends that, you know, are loud and some that are shy. And so it's like, you know, you interact differently based on that, like because you know that they're not the kind that's going to start the conversation. So, you know, you might have to, you know, prompt them, or, you know, you don't take it personally if they're quiet that day or whatever. So it's like, it's just part of a person. It's bizarre. And so I know him and RJ are cool, but it's like when he's like, my blind autistic friend RJ, I'm just like, really? That's what you lead with? I don't know.
Hey,
Why can't you just call him RJ? RJ,
Exactly.
my friend.
I know. I'm not mad at you guys. It's just, this makes me so upset because I'm like, because then he'll say,
JP knows Gemma and RJ for about the same time as Gordo and Eli. And they now started to know how disabilities
Mhm.
are
yeah.
like. So,
I mean, how I met
JP?
Eli.
Jamie learn how to accept people with different culture are different from him. So,
Right. Well, and he learned, and I know that he's come a long way too in understanding why, you know, certain terms can be hurtful, even if he's using them as slang. You know, there's just certain things that perpetuate a stereotype, and they're words that are used intentionally to hurt groups of people. And so even if you're not using it in, you know, for that purpose, it's still hurtful, and it normalizes that word in a way that shouldn't be. And it's like, but that's what I mean. But he hasn't always been that way. Some people are open to understanding and hearing out other people about why. And I think that Eli has a problem with that because he assumes he knows why. It can't be him. It has to be you. You must be against him, in cahoots. You're part of the conglomerate. You must lead a miserable life and have had a bad childhood, and you're projecting. That seems to be his answer to everything.
If anything, he's the one projecting.
Yes.
He's projecting his insecurities, the fact that somebody's a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more wiser,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a little bit more life experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I came across Eli through another community.
Mm-hmm.
It was the hashtag I am a creator community run by, I can't think of the guy's name now. He came into one of the streams and tried to take over, saying, you got too many mods. And then when people said, hang on a minute, this ain't your channel, that's when he started getting funny.
Yeah.
And that's how it all stemmed from there.
Huh.
He's never liked me since.
I think he still uses that hashtag in his videos, Gordo.
I think so.
I was just looking at his hashtag.
Nobody uses that anymore, pretty much. That's, yes, it's still there, but not as bad as 3 years ago. I'm a I'm a creator. So, yeah, if Eli wants to make peace with everybody, he has to get off his high horse and talk to everybody.
What makes me laugh is how Eli looks up and says, "Oh, all of Jamie's supporters come through him." No, they didn't come through him. I met Jamie through RJ. He was on RJ's stream, and I met RJ through Eli because he was talking about. I didn't actually meet him through Eli. He was mentioning RJ, so I went and looked up RJ. He drew attention to him, so I went and had a look, and that's how I met Jamie on one of his many channels.
I met RJ through Eli or 3.5 years ago.
Hi, Red Door, by the way.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. Well, it's afternoon here.
Morning.
Oh, I'm honored I haven't been on panel with with Kim or you, Gordo. Of course, I'm a fan of Gordo's artwork and music, so the problem with Eli, I only came to this community because of Eli. I was working on a white paper for a psychology class I was taking, and I picked the topic of investigating fake life coaches. So I stumbled upon Eli, and then because at that time Jamie was restreaming him, I ended up in Jamie's community. But throughout the time, and I know that Gordo's known him a lot longer, but Eli has this narcissistic elitist attitude, and I remember one day on his walking stream he was talking about his investments and how much money he had and how everybody else they were all losers, and just ranting on and on. And he is he just treats people like they're beneath him, and he's so much better and has so much more to offer. And I think it's and the fact that he's touting to be a life coach.
Right.
First of all, he has no life experiences. I mean, he's not educated in the ways of the world. He hasn't traveled. He probably hasn't even been out of the state of California. And I mean, to travel around the United States and I was fortunate. I lived in Europe for 10 years. So I've been to the UK like 3 or 4 times, and Scotland, and then all over Europe. But part of embracing and learning about people is embracing their cultures and their backgrounds. I mean, when I lived in Kentucky, I got invited to this party, and the best time I had was sitting on the front porch of this big old farmhouse, listening to all these people playing guitar and picking banjos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a totally different culture from what I'm from. But, it's if you're not willing to accept people's differences and understand that we're all different. I give diversity classes for 12,000 employees in the organization that I work for. You know, we're always talking about diversity and inclusion,
Yeah.
you know, and inclusion is effort and practices in which different groups or individuals having different backgrounds are culturally and socially accepted and welcomed. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So I just am not going to be, because his Dawn is a racist too. You know, they had that conversation about the race card thing,
Yeah. That's
and I'm just not going to give him my time or effort. I did go into his chat one night, and when I went in there, he's like, "Oh, Red Door woman, who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm Native American and I'm a tribal member." Well, that was the end of me.
I mean,
So,
I get the impression he's very materialistic.
yes.
When he goes on and on about his iPhone, what I don't know what number it is, 15, 16 with the 1080p and this, that, and t'other.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a crap. You know, I see some channels streaming on a basic phone, and their content is just as good, if not better.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need expensive equipment. You know, it's the same with his computer. He goes on and on about his microphone and this and that and whatever. I mean, and he's judging everybody by what we've got. You don't know what I've got, Eli. You don't know, how many properties I've got, what my lifestyle's like. So don't judge me
Yeah.
when you don't know me.
I was at Staples. It's an electronic store, business type store. And looking at those MacBooks, $2,000. They are expensive. Looking at the HP, $500. That's the
I use a Mac.
well-known laptops. So get a $500 or $400 laptop. They work better than what you want to do. Right now, I'm on my phone. It works. So,
As long as it does the job, that's all that matters.
yeah. So,
And then my other big issue with Eli is the fact that of the way he's treated Jenny and Johnny. I have an
yeah.
autistic grandson that's 19, and he was actually nonverbal until he was like maybe 5. Well, he spoke, but he had his own language. We didn't know what he was saying, you know, it was horrible. So, after many years of speech therapy and special ed, and he actually graduated from a special high school, and he plays 3 instruments now, and he went to all state band. um you know, he doesn't understand that there are people with disabilities. There's different types of disabilities. I lived with a father who had polio. He got polio when he was like 3 years old. So he had one leg that was all shriveled up and had to wear a big lift on his shoe. You know, and I grew up with listening to people ask me questions and making fun of him. So there's, you know, mental disabilities, there's physical disabilities, there's all kinds of, and and the fact that he is not willing to understand. And I did have an issue with him, you know, mocking GLM's master's degree. You know, he doesn't have a college degree, and I don't mock people that don't, but don't mock people that do. You know, that's just it. You know, you just he's he's not and like I said, he is what he is. He's 49 years old. Those are his core values and beliefs. He's not going to change at this point. You know, he's lived in his own little tunnel, and that's what he knows. But the day on the walking trail, he was walking and then he stopped and this guy walked by him and he goes, "Oh, well, he looks like a poor Mexican to me." Why would you say something? How can you assume something like that? First of all, what does it matter if he's Mexican or not? And how do you know if he's poor? Uh,
It makes you wonder whether he was actually raised that way, whether he takes on the views of his family. You know, I mean, does his family have the same sort of views?
They probably let him go be like this and let him do this stuff. But if you want to go out in real world and you have to learn how to treat people right. If you treat people shitty, people will give you shitty back to them. You. And especially if you for people with don't show their disability. You don't know if they got it or not. That's the problem. Until they say something. So that's the problem. Jamie did say other night he needs to learn if he wants to be a life coach. He needs to learn everything about these subjects.
It's not just mental health; it's other issues. Do you know what I mean? There's other
Yeah.
subjects. He's not very well up on. Things like homelessness, drug addiction, alcoholism.
Yeah. Like last night, Paul was up there. He wants to give his advice to Dawn and help her. And it sounds like Eli didn't want Paul to help. That's what I gathered.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disclose what my sort of past or personal life on like he does on things. If you're going to do that, of course you're going to be judged. I'm not out here, disclosing what I've done and what my problems are. I got bipolar, but I don't use it as an excuse, or a crutch like some other people do.
but Gordo, you also spend your time helping other people,
Yeah.
So you've had a lot of experience being around different kinds of people with a variety of issues, and you spend your time helping them. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if people are aware, but I actually used to run a photography course in a. It's called a recovery. It was called a recovery college, and it was for people dealing with homelessness, dealing with alcohol, dealing with drugs, dealing with mental health, dealing with mental issues. And I ran a workshop teaching people how to take photographs. Nothing complex. I didn't go into the ins and outs, just basic photography, and they got far more enjoyment out of that. And I mean, one of my clients, he was from Portugal, didn't speak a word of English, but I could still be able to communicate by showing him.
Gorda, please stop. Angel, I don't want any issues up here. So, if you want to leave. I heard everything last night, so I don't want any trouble on my stream. So, please go. If not, I'm kicking you out. There he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, Angel was on Jamie's stream last night, and he was having issues with Barbara last couple of days. So, and I don't want him causing trouble on my stream. So, I know he wants friends, but the stories I hear and what happened on Jamie's stream last night, and I don't want that on my stream. Anyways, Eli, if you're listening, think about it, and you're welcome on my stream. If you're up at this hour of the morning. What if wish you were there more people like you? Weather is very respectful lady. So, she does give out points. So, anyways, Eli, if you're listening, you're welcome on my stream. And talk about it. So, and last night on Jamie's server, I did spec out. I did say something to Jamie and Sarah last night. and they were sorry about what happened. So they might say something today, but who knows? Yep, hi Paul. I'm going into this, so if you're I probably stream tomorrow. If you're up, you are welcome to come up, Paul, and talk about anything. So
Oh, Maggie May, thank you for your comment. I
yeah,
appreciate that. Good morning, Paul. How are you today?
yeah, he's just stopping in say hi. So and hopefully Eli hears this and come and see me. And yes, I mean, Eli, I'm sort of talking shit about you, but some of them is the truth. When we talking shit about you, but you need some of the shit needs to be said. So I'm going in this and go to Kim's. She's alive. So
Okay, well,
and
Jenny,
plus I'm working to 3,000 watch hours. I just flip per night to little over 2,000 watch hours. So anyways, see you guys.
okay,
Thanks
well,
for Wetor, Kim, and
yeah, have a
Gordo.
blessed day, everyone. Thank
Yes,
you, Jenny.
yeah, and see you over at Kim's. So, anyways, yeah, I was, I was on Jamie's, but I couldn't get word in because all of them were like button in, and Jamie said, "Let Jenny speak." And, and when I do, everyone stepped in. So that's the problem. That's the problem, Paul. So see you guys later.